Hello, and I guess this is pretty relevant for everyone, really. I've just been, sifting through YouTube, and I saw a lot of people talking about YouTube censorship, so I just want to give my 2 cents on this. Um, don't get me wrong, YouTube is a business, and I think it's understandable that they would want to get on their ad people's side or something, that maybe the ads maybe the people with the ads said, maybe tone down some of your producers content, don't make it too hateful, don't make it too um disgusting. I would say it's very normal evolution. But here's the thing: if you want to censor people's content, you gotta tell them what they can do and what they can't do. You can't just say, "Okay, we're gonna give you a list of things that you can't do," and not give us something that we can do. Because for example, if I were to review Pan, for example, in that video I used a lot of profanity because I just hated that movie with such a passion that I didn't even think about the words I was using. Normally I wouldn't use profanity as much. I would try to get around that, give a singular thought or connecting points without using profanity. But here's the thing: if someone were to react to something emotionally or affected them emotionally, they would use profanity. So my question is to you, YouTube: is that acceptable? Because that's not really inciting hate. That's just a flare of passion that is in your producers. You see it in the old Smosh videos. You see it in KSI's videos. Every YouTuber that has ever existed has used profanity to get across a point. It's not just a singular thing. It's to get across a point, or to use it for parody use, or to use it in a satire, because our satire is very much of the profanity and the vulgarity, because it's a play on language, and that in it is essential to the video's quality. I really feel that. And if you're gonna say, okay, you can't use these words in a certain context, that would be understandable. I saw the guidelines that said, you can't really talk about war. But then what would somebody be doing a documentary on something? Is that then acceptable? Because I've seen videos that on YouTube that actually do documentaries on certain events, for example, the Holocaust, and there's things like that. So, and TV does that too. It's documentaries. It's education for people. So I don't know, YouTube. Like, you just can't say, here's the things you can't do. You have to also say, alright, in this context it's alright, but in the other context it's not okay. If you just say, oh, the Holocaust was a hoax, for example. I'm not saying that it's a hoax. I'm just saying that if somebody were to say that, and YouTube says, you can't say that because it hurt a lot of people, and it's a hurtful subject to really talk about. Maybe you can use a sample size of the material, but not all of it, because some people still have raw emotions on it, and that's understandable. The bottom line is that YouTube can't just say the ads that we generate don't like the content you're having, and we're not going to give you a context in which you can change around your content to fit our needs to base on the advertisers that come into YouTube and let them use their ads for money, because the more controversial it is, people would want to see it more. And I understand that that may not be ethical, but again, it's just very much the internet. It's the internet's mentality, and if you want to sanction it down into a corporation, you have to also tell your content producers what you can put out and what you can't put out. So, and give them a context. You just can't not give them a context. You have to always have a context in these types of situations to be a better corporation, I think. So YouTube, this is really from the bottom of my heart. I've known YouTube for a long time. I've never really used YouTube until this year, and this year seems to be my bad luck because all of these things are coming into it. But I kind of knew, but I'm just maybe thinking, maybe it's not a good time for YouTube, because all these changes are being made and there's no context in which I can change myself or my beliefs or the way I speak, because really YouTube, you have to look at yourself and say, okay, I do this too sometimes, so I can forgive it. But if it's in a really hateful way, then it's your prerogative to take down the video, because it's not entertaining, it's not educating anything. For example, Keemstar, I'm gonna give that example because he's a very hateful and derogative guy. That's your prerogative, because he's a hateful guy. He's not doing anything that would benefit the community in any way. So that's just my 2 cents, guys. I'm sorry for the long rant here, but please, YouTube, give us the context. I'm willing to work around the context. If I'm doing a reaction, you say, okay, this is the context that you can't use profanity, but if you want to use profanity, don't use it so much. It's fine, I can do that, because then I'll just have to write a script for myself, and that's then not gonna be a really blind reaction, because the blind reaction is something in which you work off of your own raw emotions. But I get it, you want to be a corporation, and I get that you are maybe getting sanctioned by your advertisers, people, and everything. I understand. I'm in business school actually, and I'm doing a math degree, but still I understand the business side of things, and I think it's all right to give these set of rules and say, okay, this is the set of rules that you can't do, right? But you also have to tell us what we can do, and that is the important part. So see you guys next time. Bye.